Hey, it's good to see you guys. So, this summer I was doing a Foxfire Listen as You Garden, and it is spring. So, I've got Foxfire 2 out, and I just want to start with the spring section here. So, here in zone 6, we are uh it's hopping. Everything's happening, and that's kind of a play on words because I'm a rabbit raiser, and not only do I have a couple of pregnant does, I am going to pick up my new line of rabbits coming up. I've got baby chicks popping out everywhere, at least 10 of my little Easter eggers. I've got seeds coming up. I've got seeds being sown because this is that window to get peppers and tomatoes started before the first frost because I love starting my seeds. It is just such a joy, and I have so many, and I'm just getting it done. Let's face it, that's what's happening today. And so, as I look through my Foxfire collection, one of the things that they have specifically about spring is the spring wild plant foods. So, I want to read a little bit from this Appalachian wisdom. Now, you ask the question, why are you into this? Well, let me tell you. When I grew up, there was one of these in the bathroom all the time from the Foxfire series, and this Foxfire series was birthed from, uh, high school students. The history teacher said, "Hey, I want you to go interview your grandparents because the Appalachian folks, there's intelligence happening there." There was situations where there wasn't education, but education and intelligence are 2 different things because we know the modern education model was designed by people who had an end in mind. And these folks, they did their thing, and I am a product of that. So, um, I love that old-timey wisdom that comes from this. It reminds me of my people who were there. My mom didn't have indoor plumbing till 1979. I was born in 78, so she was already out of the house. Um, they lived off the land, and as things progressed, they did go to town. They did have some modern luxuries, that was a thing, but I'm one generation removed from people carrying water and having, going to the bathroom outside and not inside. It's a whole thing, and I just love the grit and determination. I loved seeing my mama's garden and her raising all those animals. Like, she did that. She lived that life. She canned the things. She fired up the wood stove and made our supper, and she would do it in the middle of July. It was hot. It is cold today here in the Ozarks, so I'm inside making this video, and I wanted to have some clarity on there, so I got my microphone for you, and I'm gonna read about the spring wild plant foods. And here we go. The forests and fields of the mountains are literally filled with edible leaves, berries, and roots. Many of these have been used by the mountain people for several generations. In pioneer days, I love the term mountain people. I've always said mountain people. I don't like the hillbilly term. It is what it is, but I like mountain people. That's kind of awesome. In the pioneer days, the use of wild plants to supplement the daily diet was a necessity, and many of the plants used served as tonics or medicines as well. Nowadays, with the lure of modern food markets, the use of many wild plants is a matter of choice rather than need. Many of our informants say my mother or my aunt or my grandmother used to do that, but we don't bother gathering it. There is a revival of interest in the wild plant foods. Now, no, mind you, this was in the 70s. This thing was, yep, this was copyrighted in 1970, 71, and 72. And it's 2024. I think we got another revival. What y'all think? There is a revival of interest in the wild plant foods for many who have migrated to the city are finding pleasure and good eating in returning to the country on occasion to gather wild greens or berries. Most of the wild plants have a high vitamin and mineral content and add greatly to the foods essential for good nutrition. We began gathering information on this topic several years ago, though it is not a complete handbook or guide for the woods by any means. It does reflect everything we have found so far and everything, including included here has been verified and rechecked with our native informants, with the exception of those few recipes marked by asterisk, which are recipes that came to us secondhand rather than directly from our mountain contacts. In addition, we have enlisted this chapter with the invaluable aid of Marie Mellinger, a local botanist, who checked all of our plant specimens, verified their botanical names and characteristics, tried almost every one of our recipes herself, and helped us to compile a list into a chapter that would make some sense and that you might use yourselves. With her help, we've listed the plants according to their botanical order. Miss Mellinger also found Carol Ruckdashell for us, a botanical illustrator who provided pen and ink drawings. For those of you who intend to try to find some of these plants yourselves, we should emphasize that the plants named are those traditionally used here in southern Appalachia. Although they may well exist in your part of the country, you may need to consult a local plant guide to be sure. I got my Ozark plant guide. Hey. And we should also urge you to avoid plants that are becoming rare on the verge of extinction in your areas, aka ginseng. I have a whole other, that could be a whole different discussion. Can we just be real? There will be no problem with the vast majority of dandelion, for example. But in the age of asphalt, summer home developments, edible plants such as Indian cucumber, wild ginger, and wintergreen have suffered terribly. And we must issue a word of caution. John Evelyn wrote, "How cautious then ought sallet, SALLET, as in poke salad, not salad, gatherers be, lest they gather leaves of another plant do them ill. Never gather a plant unless you're familiar with it." Good advice. Some plants are safe to use in small quantities. For example, sheep sorrel or rumix and wood sorrel, oxalis. Both rich in vitamin C, overuse should be avoided because of their content of oxalic acid. Sometimes one part of the plant will be safe to use, such as the stems of rhubarb, while the leaves must be avoided. Some plants are safe only after cooking. One mountain man told us that people used to follow the cows in the spring of the year to see what they would eat. This could be dangerous for cows are notoriously stupid. And all the cow farmers said amen. And will eat the plants that cause milk sickness, such as deadly things as wilted cherry leaves. Most greens and salad plants used are in the mustard family and composite family. Most of the plants of the mustard family used for greens have a characteristic mustardy smell and sharp pungent taste. Most fruits and berries are in the rose or heath family. Plants to be avoided are those of the parsnip family, for many resemble the deadly cow parsnip and the water hemlock. Sometime must have experimented finding the edible plants by trial and possibly fatal error. Now, there is no necessity for that. Descriptions, drawings, and photographs of the edible plants all help you to determine their identity. There is almost nothing better after a long winter, and remember, most greens are best when young and tender, than a mess of dandelion, lamb's quarters, or cress. Absolutely nothing equals a fresh dish of strawberries, freshly gathered in a sunny meadow, with all the goodness of sun and rain with their tart sweetness. Have fun gathering and good eating. Okay, so what we have here is there are several, it talks about the greens themselves, and then there are recipes, which is super fun. This one has a ton of pictures. And so, goodness, this is a super duper long chapter. I had no idea. This is like a whole entire thing here. Super awesome. Oh my word. Ah, we got about 20 pages. We could go through this. I could go through this like one by one. We could just do one by one. I could do little shorts. We'll see what happens. So we'll start with the first one. Um, spring tonic time. After a long winter, spring was the time to refresh the spirit and tone up the system with a tonic. The mountain people used teas as beverages and as tonics. They would gather roots and barks in the proper season, dry them, store them in a dry place, and use them as they wanted them. People used sugar, honey, or syrup to sweeten the teas. Common spring tonics were sassafras, bush, and sweet birch. Lovely Kelso told us we had to have sassafras tea or spicewood to tone up the blood in spring, but I never cared for either. Sassafras in the spring. Let's see it. So sassafras is usually a small tree growing in clumps in old fields and woods edge. It is one of the first trees to appear on the cutover lands in the mountains. However, sassafras may grow to 60 feet tall. Twigs and the bark of young trees are bright green. Older bark becomes crackled in appearance. Leaves are variable in shape, being oval, mitten shaped, and three leaves. Leaves, twigs, and bark are all aromatic. Greenish yellow, fragrant flowers appear in early spring, are followed by deep blue berries. The so-called red sassafras is identified by some botanists as Sassafras albidium, a variety mole, and has soft hairiness on the leaves and twigs. The recipes that follow can be used with either variety. Twigs, roots, or root bark are used for tea, candy, jelly, and flavorings. Has anyone had sassafras? I just know that I am a sassafras, so that's my experience level. And then there's Sassafras Mountain, where I'm from. Highest mountain in state of South Carolina, in Pickens County, where I'm from. Leaves are dried and used to thicken soups. Blossoms are also boiled for tea. Sassafras has a long history of use as food. It was one of the first woods exported to England, where it was sold as a panacea for all ills, guaranteed to cure quotidian and tertian agues, lung fevers, and cause good appetite, make sweet a stinking breath, help dropsy, comfort the liver and feeble stomach, good for stomach ulcers, skin trouble, sore eyes, catarrh, dysentery, and gout. Man, it'll just cure all that ails you. There was even a song used to advertise sassafras. In the spring of the year, when the blood is too thick, there's nothing as fine as a sassafras stick. It tones up the liver and strengthens the heart, and to the whole system new life doth impart. In the mountain, sassafras has always been used as a beverage and tonic. There is a saying, drink sassafras during the month of March and you won't need a doctor all year. Sassafras was a blood purifier and tonic and a sweater outer of fevers. Red sassafras is best, but as someone said, red is hard to get nowadays. The mountains used to be full of it. Sassafras is best gathered in the spring when the bark slips or peels off easily. Florence Brooks told us, find a small bush, pull up the roots, and dig down by the base of the tree and cut off a few sections of root. Wash the roots and scrub until the bark is pink and clean. Peel off the pinkish bark for tea. Miss Norton said that some claim the root is better, but you can just use up the branches. Big roots should be pounded to a pulp. Fanny Lamb said, get some sassafras when the leaves are young and tender. Just eat leaves and all like you've seen cows do. Eat leaves and tender twigs and everything. Alvin Lee wrote, it's a remedy for colds and those down in the dumps from a long winter. It's a spring tonic because some folks drink it all year. Sassafras is supposed to be used on and after February 14th. With golden seal and wild cherry, it makes a very potent tonic. See, I'm used to golden seal or yellow root. Um, it always would grow down by the creeks. It's almost like it just grows wild. It's real easy to see. Dig it up, and you can dry it or don't even have to dry it. At least wash it off before you make the tonic. But it people having kidney problems use the golden seal. It's there's a lot of good stuff out there. So Wash the roots, beat to a pulp with a hammer, boil, strain, sweeten, drink with ice. Or put 1 cup of shredded bark in a quart of boiling water. Boil 10 to 12 minutes. Strain, sweeten with sugar or honey. Or use a 5-inch piece of sassafras root, 1 inch thick. Okay. Shave into 2 quarts of water. Boil, adding sugar or honey. Mighty tasty if stirred with a spice wood stick. Sassafras candy, grate, bark, boil, strain. Okay, so it's showing you how to do that and even sassafras jelly. Now I'm super curious as to whether it's a thing here in the Ozarks and to see what we actually have. So that's super fun. And yep. So sassafras. I'm gonna stop there. I didn't realize how much was in here, but I just wanted to switch um, into the spring. It's time for the spring. Um, we all kind of take that winter break, but we're back. We're doing the thing. So I love it so much, and I love that you're here. I've been saving all this goodness in the quietness of my Facebook group. But if you don't know, this is the Victory Garden Collective. It is a bunch of gardeners who've come together for mutual support, for community, um, for problem solving. Because gardeners are my favorite people. They're awesome. You pretty much what you see is what you get, and it's just fun. Plants are just fun. Can we just talk about that being fun? Super fun. So, anyways, uh, stay tuned for the next installment. I'm gonna read about a few more wild-crafted, wild plant foods of the spring from Southern Appalachia. You potentially may have them in your area, and I know I'm gonna look for them here in the Ozarks. I'm gonna get my Wildcraft book out and get my eagle eyes out, and I would love to find some sassafras and golden seal here. I think that'd be amazing, especially golden seal or yellow root, like we called it, and make myself a spring tonic because the allergies have hit and I'm done with this winter sickness trying to stay on me. I'm done with it. I'm tired. I'm out there planting seeds. I'm out there doing the things. I'm rip roaring for spring. I really hope you are. And thanks for joining me today. Like, subscribe, and you know, join my little this is the time for starting seeds. If you feel so intimidated and you've never done it before, this is your year. If you're exhausted and tired, go get your starts. It's okay. But if you're a seed hoarder like me and you're kind of done with yourself and you want to actually start your own stuff, I've got a way to do it that's super simple. I'll throw that link in the comments. Hop on over there, grab that mini class, and start your seeds. Get your stuff together. You can do this. Your garden your way. And I'll see you next time with the next installment. Have a good one.